Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So today we're talking about the upcoming Mandoverse era show, Goonies in Space itself, Skeleton Crew. The way the show's been marketed is deliberately misleading, and of all things, a new action figure reveal for Jude Law's character Jude Nawood has revealed the show might be lying to us. This is pretty big. So first things first, ever since the first trailer a couple of months ago, we've known that Jude Law's character can use the Force. In marketing, he's been described as a very new and different type of Jedi. Even one of the children, Whim, confirms the character is a Jedi, and he helps the children get out of prison. He is still using his Jedi powers. They are a bit shaky, which makes sense. If he survived Order 66, that was decades ago. He's been a smuggler to get by, hiding his powers, only using them when he has to. However, we've been under the impression at some stage during the show he's going to use the Force in a more powerful and visual way, maybe even whipping out a lightsaber. But here's the thing, at New York Comic Con, the Black Series figures for Skeleton Crew were unveiled, including that of Jude Nawood, and while there may be more iterations of the character to come, including a vintage collection, of all his accessories this version does not include a lightsaber. Now there are many reasons why this could be the case. If Jude was a Padawan during the Great Jedi Purge, it's possible along the way he lost his lightsaber, he sold it, and no longer owns one. Why would he? Another possibility is that his character does have a lightsaber, but they didn't want to spoil this reveal before the show dropped, and so the first Black Series figure for the character is just his smuggler persona, where we find him at the start of Season 1. But a new theory puts all of this aside, and proposes something more heinous going on. Something the cast and crew has already told us in the marketing, that Jude is not who he claims to be, and the different sort of Force user he is more sinister, because Jude Law said we can't trust him. This is the most important part of his character, and I'll tell you why. In the trailer it seems like the children have glorified what the Jedi were, and what they stood for. Heroes of both the Old Republic, but also the New. After the battles of Endor and Jakku, Luke Skywalker's name is famous. That is what the kids expect of all Jedi. So when they come across Jude, they're expecting a superhero type of figure. So when he deceives the children for his own benefit, which is what the leak suggested, he finds the location of their secret homeworld, which is valuable information, he pretends to be their friend, when in reality is after his own payday. The children will have a sobering awakening that they can't trust those they've always seen as heroes. That is going to be an important turning point. And I've got to say, in the short term, the lack of a lightsaber isn't too significant, but in the grand scheme of things, it's the first hint that Jude is not who he says he is. And even if he was once a Jedi, it could show us how far some survivors of Order 66 truly fell. He's a very different kind of character to Baylan, but in a similar fashion, Baylan found mercenary work to survive. Jude Nawood turned to the underworld. And if the rumours are to be believed, he's turned to smuggling and is associated with pirates. But there is another theory, my dear friends. Jude might be a con artist, using a fake Jedi identity to gain the trust of others, those who are gullible enough with a tinge of nostalgia and wide-eyed curiosity to fall for old tricks, kind of like Hadra in the Obi-Wan show. And the best, most convincing hint at this being the case was the shakiness of the key when Jude promises to help the children escape prison. I'm starting to think the leaks are true, and if you missed those, my dear friends, go and check out this video for all of the details. It would be fascinating to see a fake Jedi setup like this, but it begs the question, if he is a fake Jedi, are the children going to have a renewed sense of hope when they meet a real one? Is that a way for another Jedi we know to come into this? Are they really going to pull another Luke on us? Who knows? And you know, it's interesting because when it came out that this character is going to be a different sort of Jedi, Star Wars fans who are already quite apathetic about this show started rolling their eyes and saying, here we go again. And from what I've gathered from comments, it's really The Last Jedi that made Star Wars fans skeptical about the way Disney Lucasfilm deals with the philosophy of the Jedi and their moral compass. There's almost like a distrust, the sentiments that they can't do this right, and I'm hoping they don't waste the talents of Jude Law. I hope his character is fascinating, and I don't want it to just be throwaway. We need to learn who he is, become invested. But what we do know for certain from the latest information is that those who worked on it are very excited for fans to see it. The directors of the show have been unveiled. We already knew a lot of this, but let's just run through them. Some returning Mandoverse directors include the amazing Bryce Dallas Howard, who said this: I've known these guys and Chris Ford for over 20 years. My first time encountering Skeleton Crew, which was codenamed Grammar Rodeo, was when I was working on The Mandalorian Season 3 at the same time, and I was like, how is it? And they were like, it's so good. We also have Lee Isaac Chung, who was begged to come back by John and Dave, and he recalls responding, I'd love to do it. Then there's John Watts, Jake Schreier, and David Lowery, who teases similar themes to Peter Pan. Literally one of the droids is called SM-33, or SME. Now, as we know, guys, John Watts is someone Disney seems to be absolutely in love with, because if you remember, it was confirmed he was going to direct some more movies and shows after Skeleton Crew. There was a bit of speculation, is some of that going to be for Star Wars? Is there going to be a Skeleton Crew spin-off? Another project in the Mandoverse? Is he going to direct one of the movies, if we get a Mandoverse trilogy? Well, we might have our first clue. A brand new entry on his profile on WGA.org, the Writers Guild of America, is simply codenamed Blue Moon, which is very Star Warsy, kind of reminiscent of Blue Harvest, the working title for Return of the Jedi. And look at the aesthetic of the planets the children are from. Is this related to Skeleton Crew? Is it a second season? A spin-off? It's not confirmed to be Star Wars, it could be another Disney project, but it's John Watts, and it sure as heck sounds like Star Wars. So we'll keep an eye on this, and I will update you on any developments. Let's be honest here, my dear friends. It's all contingent on how Skeleton Crew performs. Just 44 days to go. How are you guys feeling about it? Let me know down below. And so finally, my dear friends, John Boyega is at it again, teasing a return as Finn. In his brand new Instagram story from New York Comic Con 2024, he posted a picture of the bracelet he's wearing that says Finn Poe. He's been hinting at stuff to do with Star Wars for ages, but we still have no confirmation if he is returning. But once again, he seems to be teasing that he might be coming back. Are we going to see Finn in the Rey movie? I think whenever he posts about Star Wars, he's really teasing us, because he knows we're waiting for a definitive update on this. I would bet good Imperial credits, he's been approached by Lucasfilm, Daisy Ridley pretends that she doesn't know, John pretends, but they do know. I do believe he's going to be back. And speaking of Poe, aside from the possibility of Oscar Isaac being in the Rey movie as well, he's returning in the comics in 2025. The first set of Poe comics were pretty decent. You guys know I'm not the biggest sequel fan, but he's a pretty cool guy, a pretty cool character. But with that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on all of today's updates in the comments down below. Did you enjoy this video? Let me know. If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.